Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. Having my coffee with you guys here this morning. It's particularly good. I just got out and pushed the snow off the sidewalk and threw a little salt down. Prepper pro tip, you always buy the salt for your sidewalks and your driveways in May, because it's usually pennies on the dollar, and then you have it for when you get the snows in December, and you can save yourself a ton of money, and you actually have it here when you need it. So that's actually a prepper pro tip for you guys. That is with a lot of stuff, you get it in the off season when it's clearanced, and you put it up because seasons come back around again. Most of the time you only got to have that stuff around for like 6, maybe 7 months or so, and then you can use it again. But anyway, the family's sick, so I will be going to doctor's appointments again, but these won't be for myself this time around. They'll be for the family members. Bronchitis is going around heavy right now. And talking a little bit about, medical and YouTube and the censor word. I actually did a video from my previous surgery explaining my experiences and stuff. That's a lot of people have watched that video because that's a fairly common thing that happens to people. So I figured, that people should know how, things are if you're going to have that surgery. So I said, with this hernia surgery, I'm going to do the same thing, right? And but I showed the actual incision that I have here on my abdomen. Boy, YouTube dropped the old no hammer on that video like right now. So I guess I got to rework that to see if I can't tell my story for that, where people know the story. I think people need to know, both the good and the bad experiences when you have these things done, because, that should play into their thought process. But the powers that be don't think that way. A lot of stuff went on yesterday in the news. It was really a crazy news day. I pretty much stayed in the house all day and cleaned up stuff and did a few other things, shot a couple of videos for you guys, and had a fairly productive day. And I was just watching one thing, after another pop up, kind of in the news cycle. And, the martial law in South Korea, that was, now there's all kinds of, back and forth, why that happened. The one side says the other side's politically corrupt, and the other side says that the system's all packed with the other side, and that political divide and that political back and forth. Hey, I got news for everybody out there. The average person, either side doesn't care about you. Just wanted to let everybody know that, put that out there. Those power structures that are in place, they don't care about the average person. The only people that care about the average people are other average people. And that's why I do what I do, and then there was more reports of more cables being cut in this kind of hybrid war that we have been in now for quite some time. You're going to see more and more of that. They don't want to level continents quite like they did in World War II anymore. They want to take over the continent subversively, not spend so much money doing it. And this sabotage and this, stuff like cutting cables and mysterious fires happening in places and trains derailing and all this stuff is meant to destabilize whatever governments, regimes. Take your pick on the noun you want to use to explain that, but these are all destabilizing tactics. And the way things are now, this stuff is going to continue and probably escalate, in my opinion. This goes all the way back to several years ago when we had the thing that went around, and I believe to this day that was a destabilizing event of it's kind of once in a lifetime event, that destabilized the system. And that is still going on. And how do you fare this into other topics and stuff? Well, as an average prepper and average preparedness and just normal people, you need to have your redundancies in place for communications, getting your family together. You need to have basically a plan to not have any communication. So if for some reason the communication goes down, you're still good to go. My family has I give them a very basic set of rules. If something doesn't look right in your area, you get in your vehicle and you drive here. And if you can't get in your vehicle and drive here, you grab your pack and you walk here. Pretty simple. And you avoid contact and put your head down and you get from point A to point B as fast as you possibly can. It's not rocket science, but getting into communities and stuff, my community here is basically my community. It's the people that, I live around and I work with. And, we have our disagreements and we have our different outlook on things and different life experiences and whatnot. We more or less have all agreed that if SHTF happens, we are going to work together and we are going to consolidate our efforts for the benefit of everyone. And that's pretty much how I look at it. And I am in contact with 6 or 7 key people on a pretty regular basis that we talk about what's going on in the world and kind of encourage each other in our own preparedness. And we know who to go to get certain things done. And I think that is the best way for me anyway to interact with a preparedness community. But we can pretty much expect to have some type of breakdown in communications or breakdown in things that we have become accustomed to, electricity, water, supply chain, medical. All these things have a tendency to get disrupted. And I've said this many times, the cascading SHTF, if one thing happens, it will cascade into many things given enough time. And these are the things that we got to look out for. I think pretty much the world now that I'm living in here is probably as chaotic and as dangerous as it ever has been, at least in the last 150 years. We are at this place where there's sort of nobody in charge and there's nobody really driving the bus, yet we're all on the bus. And I don't see how this is going to straighten itself out without some type of more catastrophic event happening. But, have that plan out there. Have a plan to, operate without communications. The fog of war is a thing, and I have talked to many different people who are in different civil conflicts and stuff around the globe. And there's a period of time where nobody knows what's really going on. And that's your small window where you need to get out and you need to get to someplace safe, because if you don't react in that period of time, you're going to get caught behind enemy lines, basically, and you could be in a place that's not advantageous to your own survival. So just some things to think about here this morning over my coffee while I'm waiting for the weather to break a little bit so I can get everybody out and everybody looked after. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information and a little entertainment out of my videos as always, and you guys have a good one.